Hello and welcome to tonight's LOL Esports Roundup, where we're going to cover a couple of player moves, as well as the LCS, LPL, and LCK games. LCS Week 3 Day 1 that occurred last night, not the games that occurred that just ended. So LCS Week 3 Day 1, the LCK, the LPL games from this morning, and then preview tomorrow, Friday's LPL, LCK, and LCS games. That'll be LCS Week 3, Day 3. News, Breon, OK Bro, however they are called now, they did swap mid laners back to what it was before. Karis is now the starter. Ivory has been put back in CK. Karis did play today, and we'll get into that. Karis had a 3-4 KDA, 8-6 CS per minute, 71-9 KP when he did play with Bro to start the split in 7 games. 358 gold per minute, 405 damage per minute. That was 21.5% of the team's gold and 24.3% of the damage. On average, was down 275 gold, no CS, 75 XP up, had no solo kills, played 4 champions in 7 games. At the time, I did say Karis is not elite by any means, but I did believe he had more of a right to the job than Ivory. Ivory did not do very well in CK, in my opinion, and then when he got to the LCK, he looked out of place. He had a 1-4 KDA, 9 CS per minute, 53.6 KP in 10 games, 53% KP. No wonder why he had 9 CS per minute. He was not involved. And keep in mind, we're going to get into this. It was not because he was ahead in lane. That was for certain. 368 gold per minute, 468 damage per minute. So the same amount of gold share, 21.5, slightly higher damage share at 25.1. Died a lot more. On average, at 15 minutes, he was down 645 gold, 15 CS, and 405 XP. Had 1 solo kill, played 6 champions in 10 games. Definitely out of place. If you're down 15 CS a game, unfortunately for him, Bro put him in a pretty bad situation. The team is not very good, and he had no business being called up. So, unfortunately for him, maybe that sours his career. Wouldn't shock me. Thunder Talk from the LPL have sent Zhao Halgren down to the LDL. In 5 games, he had a 2-5 KDA, 5-6 CS per minute, 64.2 KP. So average farm, a very low KP, under 2 out of every 3 kills. 317 gold per minute, which was 19.1% of the team's gold. 291 damage per minute, that was 16% of damage. Played a different champion every game. Bechuan is now the unquestioned starter. Zhao Halgren had made a claim about his contract and how they had guaranteed him playing time in his contract with the big club. Maybe that was Thunder Talk following through on that contract because they were called out on it. Wouldn't shock me. LNG also made a move. They brought up my son to play at support. I did not include that in this video. I only realized it after I had set up the board that I'd missed it. So tomorrow I will discuss that farther. Predictions, I'm 130 and 54. We're going to speed run this because this video is coming out late if you cannot already tell. TSM EG win, they're 6-1. TSM 3-4. Revenge was MVP on Renekton. Unforgiven 604, 33% of damage on Varus. Isla went deathless 0012, so the bot lane 6016. Ruby in his LCS and TSM debut went 032, 31% of damage on Azir. I don't understand why Insanity got benched. Somebody could say, well, look at his last week. He shouldn't have been on Graves 3 times. And if TSM are giving him that much power, which it didn't sound like Insanity was the one with the Graves idea, then that was on the coaching staff. And even if they didn't give him the power, it's on the coaching staff that he kept getting Graves. Like, I understand you paid to have Ruby as your import. Insanity is not at fault for losing the job, in my opinion. EG were just better in this one as well. Like I said, Revenge in top lane, despite getting ganked, still got after it, affected early team fights. that allowed EG to carry in the mid to late game and Unforgiven do very well in those fights. Jojo Pune also having some impact. Armeo getting his nose dirty, but Revenge was key, and he did get ahead of Hunter by quite a bit despite all the attention given his way. Afterwards, we had FlyQuest TL. FlyQuest win their first time this split, 1-6, TL 4-3. Impact was MVP on Poppy. Prince 405, 36% of damage on Zaya. Spica 206 on Sejuani. Harry 434, 33% of damage in mid lane. I don't remember what he was playing. So this was a long game, very long game, and really it came down to Impact just soaking up all the damage on Poppy, somehow getting away with low health over and over and over again, and then until the very late game where he would just dive in there and not die because he had so much health. Essentially, Prince was very great in the final couple team fights. He did make some mistakes, but it didn't matter because TL were so out of it. Vikla and Tristana was not super impressive, but they were all more impressive than Liquid. Ashe 80 carry is a little sus after watching it, despite hearing some good things. I'm not overly impressed by what I saw today out of it. It is what it is. Impact was the carry just by not dying and soaking up all the damage playing Meatball. NRG Golden Guardians. NRG win 3-4. Golden Guardians 4-3. FBI 638, 34% of damage. Contracts 3017 on Ivern was MVP. Gory 436, 32% of damage for Golden Guardians. This was a game where everybody lost, including the fans. This was a 50-minute banger. One that CLG would be proud of over the last couple of years. One that Golden Guardians over the last couple of years would be proud of. This is how they used to play when they both sucked. And unfortunately, we got to see that again as both teams didn't want to win. It went back and forth. It was ugly. And somehow, some way, NRG find a way. Contracts affecting that team fight with the Ivern. And he was key to actually getting them a lead in the early game. I thought his Qs were very on point throughout the game. He played well. Golden Guardians simply found a way to get back in the game. It kept going back and forth. And in the end, NRG win. 100 Thieves Dignitas. 100 Thieves win. They're 3-4. Dig also 3-4. Doublelift 618, 38% of damage on Zaya. Closer 1011 on Sejuani. Tomo 531, 35% of damage on Varus. Protect the 80 carry comp. Quid did well on Azir as Jensen was on Jace. Someday solo killed Rich. I thought that was important. I almost considered making Someday MVP after that. It was very early though. Doublelift would then solo kill Tomo, which said, okay, well, we have 2 solo kills here. And then Doublelift just dealt all the damage in the team fights pretty much and did his job and looked very good doing so. As Dig really couldn't get anything done. Rich looking like he did in week 1, lackluster, and you would have liked him to do better. I did predict Dig to win, and they did not. 100 Thieves, fighting around Doublelift. Quid is getting more comfortable. They're going to get better as things go along here, and maybe after week 3, we'll see a better version of 100 Thieves. Lastly, Cloud9 Immortals. Cloud9 win. They're 6-1. Immortals 2-5. Sven was MVP on Rel. Berserker 706, 31% of damage on Kesa. Eminez 3010 on Annie. Bululu 133, 30% of damage in the loss. Tactical got caught out multiple times in this one. Very ugly game out of him. Fudge looked very good. Debated on making him MVP. However, I thought Sven, his KP was nearly 100% up and through the team's, up and through the point where C9 got a big gold lead. Prior to that, Fudge had some really nice plays on the Gnar, though. Solo killing, solo. Key team fight ulties. He almost outplayed a 1v3 to trade 1-for-1 in the bot side of the rift. I thought that was pretty, I was going to say it's not impactful, it's not interesting, but impressive. Another I adjective. Team fights, though, Berserker came through. Eminez on the Annie became super strong in the late game, solo killing tactical with Tibbers. Why is Sven MVP? His Rel, Magnet Storm, getting in there, making things happen. he was important. 11 out of 12 KP up and through the big lead they got. I would have to say that he was a big reason why they got that lead. LCK, Gen G and Brian. Gen G are 7-0, Bro 1-6, as Gen 2-0 them. Pays was MVP, mainly for Game 1. Chovy 5-3-14, 32% of damage in mid. Doran 6-3-14 in top. Karis did well, 4-2-12, 32% of damage in the loss. Those stats for Karis include those stats. I just realized that is the case. So, Chovy on Tristana did a lot of nice things in Game 2. Doran on Quinn in Game 2 looked very good. They both had impact in Game 1, but Pays was the one with the flashy Kesa ultis and things of that nature with a nice KDA, but the damage really didn't follow suit. And in Game 2 on the Ashe, it was one of the worst Ashe games of the day, in my opinion. It was not very good. He found a way to trade with Brian in the early game, but actually Bro looked very good in this one. It's very reminiscent of this one, and it's kind of ironic because we argued about it a bit. Well, didn't argue. Discussed BLG versus Gen G yesterday in the Discord or this morning. Maybe it was this morning. And, power ranking them 2 and 3 and thoughts like that. And both teams I thought looked ugly today in their losses. Their wins. Sometimes it's the manner in which you win that matters. And Gen G did not look great. Pays very aggressive in Game 1 and looked very good on the Kesa, well-versed. But in Game 2, just Henna effort got after them. Now in the late game, effort into this face-off. Not going to deny that. But the fact of the matter was, you don't want to be losing that 2v2, and you don't want to be behind in gold. Bro in Game 1 got a Bro game where they should have won at like 45 minutes and didn't. So there's that as well. DRX and Live Sandbox. DRX now are 2-5. Sandbox 2-5 as they win 2-1. Rascal was my MVP. Fate 16-7 and 20, 34% of damage in the win. Paddock 9-7, 29 at 80 carry. Teddy 15-9, 14, 36% of damage for Live Sandbox. Rascal on Akali was a menace in top lane against Birdall. Yes, he died a few times. Several times in this series. Died a lot, actually. But very nice plays in top lane. Solo kills, outplaying dives. He looked fantastic. Game 2 on the Jax found ways to be very impactful. Game 3 on the Poppy dealt a ton of damage, found ways to be like super crucial, kicking Teddy out of late game team fights, and being the meatball just like impacted Ben this the night before. Looked very good, very good, frankly. Juhan and Willer, Juhan had some things that went well and some things that didn't. Mid lane, Fate looked very good. His closer picked his Aurelia Game 3, and that was, it was close for a while. And then, the Poppy was just impossible to kill. Paddock dealt a ton of damage. Fate was dealing a ton of damage, and they couldn't do anything about it. Fate with the nice KDA, but I felt like Rascal was just as important as, this series was definitely between two teams that are not great. Game 1 was one of those games like NRGGG where nobody wanted to win. Trying to take Nexuses when they shouldn't, all dying, and then the other team trying to do that and all almost die. So now both teams barely have a base. We're going to do Baron, we're going to do Elder, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Oh, we're fighting a backdoor by Birdall. Nice. Game over. All those hand movements, all the body movements, like it was disgusting. I don't really know how to describe it. It was disgusting. In games 2 and 3, I thought DRX looked very good. But it was, a series between two teams that are not great. Teddy looking very good when he jumped into team fights with the Aphelios. And his Xayah game was not as good, but it is what it is. LPL, BLG, LGD, BLG 10-1 now. LGD 1-10 as they 2-0. LGD. Elk 13-6, 19, 27% of damage. Shun was MVP 16-2 and 15. Hai Chao 4-3-9, 29% damage and loss. Another series where LGD had gold leads and blew it. One of the best 1-10 teams you're going to find. BLG's bot lane not looking very great, aka On. On had an int game today. I think that's pretty undeniable. Not very good. Now, with that in mind, Elk was very good. I thought at times his aggression was outstanding. He got after it in the bot lane at times and in team fights, but I think it was also a little disrespectful because they were playing LGD that I think they got a little free with it, and that's going to happen. Similar to the Bro Gen G situation, it's just a matter of trying to break that down and think about it a little more. Very reminiscent of JDG last year, in my opinion, how BLG plays sometimes. Now, they went to MSI, but two teams got to go to MSI, right? With JDG have went to MSI last year. I forget who finished second in spring of 2022. Nevertheless, Bin looked very good in the mid to late game, and that was important because he was able to sway team fights. But his low KP made me not want to make him MVP because Shun, I thought, on the Wukong was absolutely disgusting. In game 1, I forget which game was the Wukong game, but the Wukong game was important. It was the Shun Elk show. Shun not dying as much as Elk, and I thought cleaning up team fights at a higher degree. OMG FPX, OMG win. They're 7-2. FPX 4-7 as they 2-1 Fun plus Phoenix. Close series. I thought this was going to be a close one. FPX playing them tight. Abel 27-18. 30% of damage was MVP. PP God 3-4-43. I did debate on making PP God MVP. The bot lane went 23-11 and 61 combined. Care 2-9-16. 30% of damage as he got gapped by Cream. Now, the issue is I didn't make Cream MVP because, honestly, despite gapping Care, it was a 0 KP angle, which made me say, okay, well, you have a gold lead that you're not even using, so I'm not making you MVP. But he was up like 80 CS in one of the games on Care when the game was still close, or he was the gold lead for OMG. Shanji in games 2 and 3, very good on the Rumble, but that is his pocket pick, so trying to think that through after the game 1 that was not very good made me not want to make him MVP. Abel got his Samira in game 1. It did not look very good. LWX played in game 2. Looked even worse. So maybe this... Honestly, that's the danger of playing your pocket pick too. Not looking good on it. Now everybody might say, well, don't even ban it. It's not that he sucks on it, but it might not be strong. And now you lose a ban. Now, however, Shanji playing Rumble and doing well on it, winning both games. Now that ban might stay. So that's a thing. Aki, I thought, looked very good in their wins, but the loss was, on him a bit. Hacker really gapped him in game 1. Really gapped him, actually. LWX found ways to make things happen once again. More often than not with FPX, it is LWX doing things for them. You would have liked Care to find more impact, but, he led in damage, but unfortunately, FPX did not look very good in games 2 and 3 after a very good game 1. Team Wii and LNG. LNG 2-0, Team World Elite, so LNG are 7-4, Team Wii 5-3. Gala was MVP. He had a pentakill in game 2 on Kesa. Yes, Gala's Kesa is still a thing. 17-2-7, 40% of damage. He played Ziggs in game 1 as well, and I was on the line of making him MVP between him and Scout before I saw the penta, and I was like, well, that answers that question. Tarzan 2-3-18, Hope 4-8-10, 32% of damage. Hope had one of those int games, int series today. Scout solo killed him a couple times in team fights. I just caught him out. Hope was not with it today. Shanks, I thought, was better than him, but he didn't deal as much damage, so he doesn't end up on the board. Just ugly out of Hope. Cube had some nice moments on Kesante even. So the solo laners were definitely what kept Team Wii even close in this one. But Scott on the Tristana was very good. Gala, like I said, with the Penta, his Kesa game was just a Kesa game for Gala. Like, that's going to be very good, right? We know that. So leaving that up, and if Kesa becomes meta, LNG's stonks rise with that one. So, LNG 2-0 Team Wii. Gala gets a penta. Scout looked good on Tristana. Now onto the sneak peek for tomorrow. All right, so some of the board you can't see, but I'm not going to alter this angle. We're going to go over this, though, because normally you can't see the board anyways. LPL preview, Anyone's Legend, Rare Atom. Anyone's Legend 3-7, coming off of a win against RNG. Rare Atom 4-6, coming off of a win against Thundertalk. Last time these two teams played, Rare Atom 1-1. The only matchup that remains the same as the Jungle. Layan went 5-12-17 in that one, 16% of damage. Zhao Hao 6-8-13, 14% in the loss. Close Jungle matchup there. Both teams, one of their few wins they're coming off of. So this one is definitely a toss-up here. Top Esports IG, Top Esports 6th in the power ranking, 7-3, coming off of a loss to Team Wii. IG 2-8, coming off of a loss to BLG. Last time these two teams played, Top 1-1. Bot lane matchup remains the same. Jackie Love and Mark went 14, 15, and 44 for only 742 DPM, and that was only 29% of the damage, so Top Esports bot lane did not show up. On and Wink went 9, 22, and 32, so they died a lot. 965 DPM and 44% of damage. So the bot lane of IG, not only better than Tops in that one, but more important to the team in damage share. Lastly, Weibo, Ninja, and Pajamas. Weibo 10th in the power rankings, 5-4, coming off of a loss to FPX. Ninja and Pajamas 23rd, 5-5, coming off of a loss to JDG. Last time these two teams played, Weibo 1-2-0. Top and bot lane remain the same, so the Shy, Light, and Crisp went 15, 3, and 37 for 1,232 DPM. That's 58% of damage. Invincible, Photic, and Ju went 6, 14, and 7, 905 DPM, 71% of damage. So more important to their team in the loss, but not as much damage. So that goes to show you why it was a 2-0. Despite dealing all that damage, that was what, 3/4 of the damage that Weibo dealt, and it was much more of the percentage. LCK, Nongshim KT, Nongshim 1-5, coming off of a loss to DRX, I believe. I put Nongshim down, they can't lose to themselves, although sometimes we think they do. KT, 4th in the power ranking, 6-1, coming off of a win to the Kwangdong Freaks. Last time they played, KT 1-2-0. Highlighting top lane matchup here, because the only difference is, if we base it off of Nongshim's roster from last split, is 80 carry diff. So Keen went 5-11, 23% of damage in the win. Dindin 0-7-7, 22% in the loss. T1 D+, T1 5th in the power rankings, 4-2, coming off of a loss to KT. D+ 11th, 4-3, coming off of a win against HLE. Last time they played, T1 1-2-0. Faker led the team in damage, going 11-4-10, 28%. Showmaker 2-5-9, 30% in the loss. That one obviously very important series there. LCS, couple big time matchups. C9 EG, C9 15th in the power ranking, 6-1 at the time I am making this video. I have not looked at day 2. EG 18th, 6-1. Mid lane is the only matchup that remains the same. Eminez went 5-2-4, 17% of damage. This was the Tryndamere mid game where he gapped JoJo. JoJo went 2-6-6, 24% in the loss. Team Liquid, Golden Guardians. Team Liquid 20th in the power rankings, 4-3. Golden Guardians 24th at 4-3. Yeon led Team Liquid in damage in that one, going 6-0-4, 37% on a Varus. Stixay went 2-2-2, 30% of damage on an Ezreal. Excuse me. Dignitas, NRG are both 3-4. The last time they played was Season 6 in spring. Alltech in the win. Went 3-0-6, 34% of damage. Quan had the best KDA, and he was the support, going 0-0-7. Kyrie went 0-3-2, 31% of damage. Sorry, NRG won this. Alltech, Quan played for NRG. Kyrie played for Dignitas, if I recall correctly, going 0-3-2 on a Kindred, 31% of damage in that game. I like looking back at that for NRG stuff. TSM 100 Thieves, both 3-4. Last time they played 100 Thieves won. Closer, Doublelift Busio went 18-8-40 for 1,942 DPM. That was 2/3 of the team's damage. Boogie, Wild Turtle, and Chime went 7, 12, and 33 for 1,420 DPM, so 500 less, and 51% of the damage. So the solo laners of TSM probably having more impact than 100 Thieves in that one, but the bot lane jungle was the difference. Lastly, Immortals FlyQuest, Immortals 2 and 5, FlyQuest 1 and 6. Last time they played FlyQuest 1. Spica, Vikla, Prince went 12, 9, and 22 for 1,830 DPM, 73% of damage. Both carry rolls make sense. Ken v. Balulu Tactical went 8, 9, 20, 1,294 DPM, so 550 less, and 62%. So makes sense, less damage, but the less share. So it was, the top lane for Immortals probably, Revenge probably had more of an impact than Impact in the last time they played. So that's it for the roundup. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter. Hope to see you again tomorrow.